Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSIDFS Fantasy NASCAR Pick Show. I'm your host, Megaruler31. Sorry about last week. Um, as those of you who have followed the show for multiple years know that back in 2020, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma, which is a form of cancer. And the good news is I was treated and I'm doing very, very well. It's a blood cancer, so it's something that they can't cure. It just like lays dormant in your system and eventually like down the road flares back up. So I have to have routine PET scans like every 6 months. So that's what I had the Friday before last weekend, and everything was good but you remember the weekend before I had no voice, I had a cold, and because I was already sick, my immune system was already going crazy. So the radiation from the PET scan, and I thought I did drink enough and everything afterwards, but apparently I didn't. So, I didn't have enough electrolytes and stuff in my system. So my immune system and my lymphatic system went haywire, and I just had a lot of inflammation and pressure and pain. Couldn't get comfortable no matter what I did. It was just made me nauseous. Couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. It was just a bad, like probably 48-hour period. But back, really doing good now. So appreciate all the well wishes, and hopefully I've got a stretch of good health coming up now. So happy Easter for those who celebrate it. Hope you enjoyed the truck race last night. I was a little bit too heavy on bend roads, but again, just don't go super wild on this. Treat it as a play track. Enjoy it, and move on to next week. So put some money on it to make it exciting. So gonna do a really quick breakdown here today because it's a Sunday morning when I get this kind of posted for you, but I got to get off to church for various services. So as always, you can hit me up at Megarover31 at Twitter, or check back or put the questions in the chat below, and I'll get back to you on that. So we'll just go right down here. The baby blue ones are people that are decent on dirt, have dirt experience. One ringer here, Jonathan Davenport, finished 14th after starting 25th in the truck race. Didn't look bad. It's got a lot of dirt experience, so definitely someone to watch here. There, and then the yellow ones really don't have a ton of experience. The ones in white might have a couple of races. Maybe they ran once or twice at Bristol, maybe where they ran Eldora, but it's still not their forte, and I think they're pretty much looking forward to next week. Okay, so Kyle Larson on the pole, I think definitely a prime play. He's elite on dirt. I know that last year did not work out as well as he thought it would. Or the first Bristol race didn't. Last year he was really good here. So you can see I have their average running position. I have their track history here. If they didn't run here, then it's probably a race at Eldora. It could have been a truck race also. So I really like him there. Looked good, and I mean he had a pretty soft qualifying group, but still he just looked really good out there. So definitely gonna probably lock him in. It could be a Joey Logano thing where he goes out there like the truck race and leads multiple laps. Conditions should be good. When you're looking at this, look more at data at 22 than 21, because 21 was a mud fest. They really didn't have the track. It was a hard surface. 22 ran like a dirt track should, and last night, impressively, after all the rain and everything, also did the track. So hopefully they got it ready for the Cup cars tonight. Dylan, he has a history of dirt racing with his brother. Results haven't been great in Cup here, and he's starting way too far forward. So I almost GPP, but almost a fade. Same thing with JJ Lealy. He's got dirt experience, but Rick Ware car, I don't think he's going to be able to hang up here for all 100, 250 laps. So he's a fade for me. Bell and Busch are both really good dirt drivers. Bell just hasn't got the results. I mean, in the first race, but in the second race, he looked better. And if you actually look at these first three three like Bell, Busch, and Reddick, I'm picking Reddick as a prime play just because just how many laps he's led in these races, like 99, which is pretty impressive. He's looked really, really good out there. Bell and Busch have done decent. Busch like has finished in an average ninth, which is pretty good. So I think if I have to rank them, I'd go Reddick, Busch, Bell, but I think they're all good plays. Of course, I don't think you can get all of them in without like playing like some of these 4K guys. I haven't done the math on it, but I think you really probably want 3 of the 4. There is some place differential in this race, but it's not really a place differential race, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to be able to move up unless it's through attrition, and then you're just trying to base your lineup on luck. So it's almost like just playing the lottery instead of playing DFS. So I think you really want 3 of the 4: Larson, Bell, Busch, and Reddick in your lineup. Cindrix, I just have him up here. Like, he obviously is up here because he did well in the heats, but I think he's more of a GPP play, only because Penske's been strong on dirt. Preece is decent in his qualifying, but he was in one of the groups that was kind of a soft one. So I think you can still roll him out in cash here, because you're going to need some salary. And again, just I think that he's only had one race here. He was here in 21. He didn't have a cup ride in 22, but he looked okay there. So borderline cash, but I think you need some cash plays in this range. So that's why I have it. Blaney, I think he has done well here in both of the races. His father was a dirt track racer, so he's not having a ton of experience, but I gave him the blue just because of like his pedigree. Maybe, I don't see the stuff on the books. Maybe it's like he just did it with his father, and I'm not like seeing anything listed statistically for it. I think he's definitely played. Byron ran well in the truck race, got up to second and was challenging Logano for a little bit, but Logano was just untouchable. So, not a ton of experience. 12th overall finish. Did really well in the first race. The second race, not as much, but again, it's only 2 races, so you really can't judge that. But the truck race looked good, so I think you can play him in cash. Bubba Wallace has a lot of dirt experience. He just hasn't gotten the results here. He's just found some bad luck, but he's really driven to do better after he's had like a run of bad races. Richmond was a little bit better for him, so I think you can consider him in GPPs, but I don't know if I can pull the trigger on cash. Logano, I think, is going to be super highly owned just based on the dominance in the truck, but I think there's so many better competitors here that understand what they're doing, that, if you want to put him in the group of 5 with Larson and Bell and Busch and Reddick, that's fine, and try to get 3 of those 5 in, and rotate him as like kind of like a dominator group in if it was a short track, then I think that's probably a decent wise move. McDowell's really good on dirt. I love the price tag at 64 here, so I think he works well as maybe one of the last people in your cash to try to get these other 4 guys in. Briscoe, I have him as cash, but he could be a dark horse here. He's been decent. The numbers, he has led a couple laps here, so was in the truck race last night, but I just think he's kind of outside of the top 4, and then 4A or 5A would be Logano, and then Briscoe would be like 5B or like 5 and 6 there, so they're kind of up that down out of that upper echelon. Gillian has run dirt in the past. Again, I like the price here too. Maybe starting a little bit too far forward, but I was pretty happy with what I saw last year. And if he finishes around where he starts in the top 20, I think at 5,300, that's a great price for him. Chastain, he doesn't have a ton of dirt experience. He's kind of struggled here, and he's a big target. So good chance for people to extract revenge on him. So I think that it might be more of a demolition derby for him. Bowman is actually kind of quietly good on dirt. Definitely a top 15 car, maybe a top 10 car. So I could see playing him in cash there. Eric Jones, GPP. Had one top 10 here, 16th overall. If he finishes at the top 10 with 58, but I just don't feel great about him. Almirola and Burton, I just don't. Almirola struggled here, and Burton just seems to find trouble. Davenport is the ringer. I think that, starting 21st, I think he can get up into the top 15 because he really understands the principles of it. If he can drive this next gen car, and you see a lot of people cross motorsports coming into this next gen car because they say it's easier to drive than some of the other ones in the past. So I think that's definitely a decent play there. Stenhouse, super aggressive, has nothing to lose, 15th overall. Um, he's had some good average running positions. So I think he's a cash play here at 89. Also, Ty Gibbs, we're not sure of, hasn't run here. So we'll have to see what happened. Didn't look horrible in the heats, but didn't look great. So we'll have to wait and see with him. I think, maybe a couple years down the road, if they continue to do this, he'll be good. Crafton's coming over for the Truck Series. He's filling in for Cody Ware, who's out for a personal reason. So Crafton should be blue. He's got plenty of good dirt experience. He's decent in the truck. So, I think he's a nice cash play there too, if this car can hold up. Justin Haley is another underrated one on dirt, 14th overall average, was in a tough heat. And I think, he's a nice one to get you to try to get those three expensive guys in your cash lineup. Harvick is not great on dirt, not bad. I think he's one that's just going to try to do well, not to hurt his championship aspirations and go on for next week. Truex has overperformed on dirt. He's led a lot of laps, so I'll give him the cash one here, but he was really good at the first Bristol race. He was really bad at the second Bristol race, so I don't know what's going on here, but just seeing him do well at some points, feel like he does understand it, so I can give him the cash. Pusher's GPP here. His everything points to that you could probably finish better than he starts with some of the other inexperienced guys up above him, just based on his 14th overall average. He's been pretty solid. So I think he's got a top 15 car, but I just don't know with all the people back here that are inexperienced what's going to happen. Allmendinger, I'm giving him a cash only because he doesn't have experience on dirt, but he's a very good short track driver, and I think that'll definitely help him out in this race. I think he'll pick it up faster rather than slower. It wasn't good in the heat, but that's fine. Hamlin has never been good in the heats, but he's been okay on dirt tracks. So I think he's going to be super popular. People are going to look at him as pace differential and think he's a top 15 car. I would rather play some of the other people, but if you want to mix him into the pool, not the top pool of the top four, but if you can, finesse another one of these 9K guys in, like Logano or Hamlin with your lineup, it's gonna be hard to get Briscoe in there, unless you boot out Reddick, Bell or Larson and take Bush just to figure out the finances for that. So but I think Hamlin's definitely played. Josh Berry, GPP. He's got good equipment and everything, and he's won, I think, an Eldora or a truck race in dirt, but wasn't super. Didn't really blow your socks off there, but who knows? So GPP, I'm not going to put full fade. Ty Dillon has a lot of dirt experiences, but the car is the worry here. So I'll have to see what happens with that. But he did look pretty good in Bristol last year. Brad Keselowski, same thing. He's been decent at Bristol, but he doesn't have a ton of dirt experience. So we'll just have to see how that works out. Daniel Suarez is my prime play down here. He's never done well in qualifying, but he has led laps 122. He understands the principles. I think he's definitely a lock here. Which I know it might be hard with the rotating the four other guys I talked about. So that's why I said 3 of the 4 plus Daniel Suarez plus 2 value plays. And I think you got a good lineup. LaJoy, Grayson, and McLeod, they are all just attrition plays down here. Grayson's super aggressive, so maybe he'd probably be my favorite of the bunch, but BJ McLeod can go no place but 4, plus he gets 3 points baked in because if anybody crashes and goes out before him, he just continues to rise up for points, and at bare minimum price here, I mean, you really can't lose much, but and I don't think you can get lapped to end up 50 laps down in this or something like he does on some of the other tracks, but we'll see. We'll see if they have long enough green lap runs for him to fall that far behind, but we'll have to see. And Cody Ware, of course, was not racing solo plant. So that's my breakdown for you. Again, like I said, you really want to try to focus on your core plays of Larson and Reddick, and then mix in Bell and Bush if you can, Suarez, and then some other ones that I was high on here would be Logano, just based on the truck race last night. Briscoe is really good also, and then Hamlin, has some decent place differential. Justin Haley down there too, Truex. So Again, if you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me. If the video helps you, please like it, subscribe to our channel, and share with your friends. And next week, I haven't even looked to see where we're at, but it should be back on a track. I'm assuming it's going to be Xfinity, and his trucks have raced a couple weeks in a row, and they probably time for them to have a break. They're on a smaller schedule than anybody, so sorry. Probably Xfinity and Cup next week, so we'll see where they're at, and I'll probably get videos out for you. And again, you know how to get a hold of me. Have a safe Easter if you're celebrating. If not, just enjoy the beautiful weekend, hopefully, for the weather, and I'll see you next time.